Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shamansistas podcast. My name is Nova.
Hello, and my name is Gachi. And we were actually inspired by many other Hmong shaman vloggers and would like to share our personal experience and journey with you all. We are not experts and may not know it all as we both are in different stages in our journeys, and not everyone's experience will be the same. So that's something we'll be explaining as we go.
Yes. And also, as the first generation Hmong Americans, we really want to share our experience to hopefully help you all and encourage anyone who may be going through their journey to not give up and keep working towards your shamanic calling. Especially because for Kachi and I,
Hmm.
our primary language is Hmong, but we have lost our language
Yes.
and we only speak English. So we want to take this time and our podcast um, channel to really, share our experience with you all. And we will talk about many different topics as it relates to our experience. So, our very first topic today, what we're going to be talking about is what made us realize that we have spiritual guides and what led us to seeking for shaman assistance. So Kachi, you have started before me, like a little bit.
A little
So can you
bit.
go ahead and share what
Yeah.
events led up to you realizing that you had spiritual guides?
Yeah.
And also, how did those events lead up to you seeking for shaman assistance?
Hmm. So, just like I'll say how I kind of find out about me being gifted or having guides. It was about 4 years ago. Um, it was just like really randomly this one night. I just had like a dream that I was, it was actually a three-part dream. Sorry, it was a three-part dream. And one night that I was, fighting demons with my grandpa, who was a what is it? He was a shaman, a practicing shaman, but no longer is now. So I was like fighting demons with him back to back in those three dreams. And when I woke up from that, I was just like, whoa, that's different. That's weird. I couldn't believe it. Like I was chanting in my dreams, trying to, So that made me seek for help or, try to get answers from my grandmother or my netai because she is a practicing shaman. So as I was seeking for help from her, she did, ask if I have guides, by doing like is it shaikwa or something like that, And turns out they confirmed that I do have guides, and they actually said it's, my grandpa's guides that are with me. So then, like from there, I just kind of like not that I brushed it off, but then it's always been with me. But it didn't really bother me. And I would say maybe because it wasn't my time. So then I was just like, okay, cool, I'm gifted. But I just didn't take it as serious. Up until like, um, it was just like a little after I found that out, like not even like a year. It was only a few months. My ex and I separated. So I am a single mom. I have a daughter, and it just happened last year where I moved there with my parents from living with my older sister. I moved there with my parents last year. And that's when it all hit me because I went through so many mental stages. Like I needed help and everything. And instead of seeking for like professional help, like how Mika people will, like American people will, I actually seeked out some help from an aunt who was able to guide me through it and tell me that, hey, you have guides, And so she guided me through it. She walked me through like, the baby steps that I needed to know. And that's pretty much how, I found out I was gifted and I accepted my gift. That's how I really found out and how I went on about it. Yes. So how about you? Because I know Nova, your story is completely different.
So, what led me to realize my that I had a spiritual guide? Sorry, I just had a brain fart.
Ew. Sure.
So, sorry, my bad. Okay, so what led me to realizing my calling was I always felt that, I had something like with me, or that there was like a purpose in my life, and that really didn't become prominent until like I'll say like 4 to 5 years ago, where I really had this feeling that there was something I had to do, like there's a purpose for me. I don't know what it is. I still don't know what it is, but ever since I was young, like I had body aches.
Mhm.
And I remember when I was younger, probably like when I was fourth and fifth grade, my mom took me to my grandpa's house, which my grandpa was a practicing shaman at that time, and asked my grandpa if he can like please like put my spiritual guides on his altar as well. So then that way I don't feel these body aches and I don't get sick. So that's like a very little part of what I remember, but what really led me to, I think, realizing that I may have guides was that sometimes I would speak things and it would come into existence, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So, for example, this is really bad, but I would be walking at work, and my workplace has a lot of trees. So I'll be like, "Oh my god, like one of these days, like this limb is going to fall down and hit
Mhm.
somebody." And bam,
It
it
does.
happens like in the next couple of days, and I was like, "Oh shit." Like that's crazy. Or like I'll have dreams
Yeah.
and they would come to real
Give it a
life,
chance. Yeah.
um, within like a week or so. So that's when I was like, okay, maybe there's something.
Mhm.
But obviously my journey, or I guess what really came to realize when I realized it and got confirmation
Mhm.
that, I do have guides and I'm supposed to start my shamanic journey was when Kachi actually went to go
Mhm.
and sit on her master or Sifa's dongning, or her bench, and she went to go sit on to shake for the first time, right? So if you guys are not familiar with the Hmong shaman, um, with Hmong shamanism, or just, if you are Hmong but you're not familiar with it, majority of the time, to find out if you're gifted or not, you usually will sit on a shaman's bench and then they'll hit the gong. So if you shake, right, that means that
Mhm.
you have spiritual guides.
Yeah.
So she went to go do that, and that's when they hit the gong, my spirit literally like lifted, like I felt it lift from my body. It was like a spiritual, oh, it was like a like an outer body experience. That's what it
She
was.
almost went on that journey with me
Yes.
too.
I almost flew with her. It was so crazy. So that's kind of like the beginning of, what I
Yeah.
felt. And it was very emotional,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I thought to myself like, I don't need to cry. The hell? I'm
Yeah.
not jumping on that bench. So I stopped myself. But then I remember this one point. I forgot if I shared it with you, Kachi. But during that time, like I like looked and eyed our
Mhm.
master, and
Yeah.
then she looked to me and she was like a wide eye, and I was like, I don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
but I was just like, "Okay, whatever."
She knew.
Um, yeah, she probably knew.
She saw
My
your
guys are
spirit.
probably like,
Yeah.
"Hello, we're
I
here."
know.
Um,
Crazy.
it was so funny. But the crazy thing was that my neck was hurting that week already.
Mhm.
And prior to going with Gachi to her event, I had a dream that morning that I saw my aunt and I asked her to massage my neck for me and it got better. So after Gachi actually took a rest from her first shaking,
Mhm.
um, we went to go sit in the living room and I was like, hey, to my aunt, I know this might sound crazy, but my neck has been hurting. And this morning I had a dream that I asked you to massage it for me and it got better. So, can you massage my neck? She said yes. So, when she was massaging my neck, she told me, hey, do you know you have spirit guides and
Coincidence.
yeah, your neck is hurting because they made it hurt and they want me to pass this message to you to
Mhm.
let you know you have spirit guides. They're there.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, like I started crying. It was like
Yeah.
this dam that just like broke. I couldn't explain it. I was like, "I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I
It's
don't know why
very
I'm crying
emotional.
at your house."
Yeah.
I know, it's very emotional. Um, but I didn't stop for a while, and I finally stopped when, she offered me some water
Yeah.
blessing water.
Yeah. Whatever works. Same thing, same
Some
difference.
some blessing water, and then it got better.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I didn't get better. My crying stopped.
Yes. I remember that.
Yes. So I didn't hesitate at all
Mhm.
to accept my calling. I think I went home and then I shared it with my partner
Mhm.
and told him that, hey, I went with Gachi today, but I accidentally found out like I also have guy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to accept it. Obviously, he was very skeptical.
Yeah.
But I didn't care about his opinion. Of course, I wanted his support, but I didn't care what he,
Alright. Mhm.
was wanting me to do.
Okay.
Because I'm my own person. I can make my
Right.
own decisions.
Right.
So obviously, I took it head on. I accepted it and started my journey.
Yeah. And I think that was pretty much the same for me too. I just like the second time I found out, from our aunt that, I was gifted and I went to shake, I just pretty much accepted it right away too. Like I didn't hesitate for sure. Like although like it just goes back to that support thing, where I was living with our parents, of course, and a single mom where, they kind of had doubts, but I still went ahead and did it. Like, yeah. So I mean, I that's pretty cool.
Yes,
So
and Gachi and I, we actually have the same master, or
yes,
Sifu. So we have the same master in Sifu. And if you haven't found out or like realized it already, we are blood sisters. So we have the
yes.
same parents.
Mhm.
Um, so even though we have the same Sifu or master, our experience is very different. And this
Right.
again is like another one of our reasons why we really want to start this
This
podcast
podcast.
and share it
Mhm.
with you all. But then also to say that like our relationship wasn't always like this, right, Gachi?
Right. It was not.
Um, so
Plain.
from your point of view, Kachi, how was our relationship prior to me going with you to shake for your first time?
I mean, we didn't hate each other, but of course, like from then till now, like we used to not even talk. Like you guys, like when I say we did not talk, like we didn't text each other every day. I swear, sometimes when I text like Nova, I will not get a text back until like a few days later. I swear that's what you used to do. Or like you won't really pick up our call, or like if you did, you just be like kind of skeptical, like what do you want, like. So we
What?
weren't, yeah, on good terms. Like to me, in my eyes, like Nova was like a total bitch. Like she was the bitch sister. No one liked her. So yeah, that was pretty much our relationship up until like, she went with me to shake. Even like that day before she went with me, the day before, like she wasn't even like the first person on my list to ask because
The
I have
last
three.
choice.
Yes, she was the last choice. We shared three sisters together, and well, I
No,
mean,
we
I
don't.
sorry,
We share
two sisters.
we share 2.
I'm proud of myself. Anyways, so we share two sisters together. And I remember when I found out, or I set up the time of wanting to go, shake at my master's house or whatever. She was not the first person I called. She was like my last resort. I called my older sister, my two older sisters first. I'm actually the youngest. So I called the other two sisters first. And then one of them had mentioned, well, Nova could probably go with you. I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now, like, I feel like we finally connected, and in a very good spiritual way. Like, if no matter what, we were gonna come around as sisters, at the end, or not in the end, still the beginning, but we're gonna connect somewhere, you know.
Your words are really throwing me off. I'm like, "Is it the end already?"
That's why I said not. But like, we are finally here together, and we have a good connection. We finally, I don't think of her as a bitch sister no more. Like that's out
I
the
was
door now.
only a bitch
Yeah.
because I will tell them the real
True.
truth,
Okay.
and they just couldn't take it.
No, but like pretty much, yeah. Like, what's your thought on it? Like our
Okay.
relationship.
Your words are cracking me up. But, let me see. So, as Gachi was saying, our relationship was not great, and even when our oldest sister texted me that day, right, I was like, yeah, we'll see if, Gachi texts me because, like,
Yeah.
we're not on greatest terms. And
Yeah.
she's right. Like, we didn't really talk. And I think when they would call me, I'm just like, oh no, what is the
Yeah.
matter this time? I
Yeah.
was
I
like,
know.
or like, oh my gosh, like, what's going on? Um, so, and when they would text me, well, I am very forgetful, first of all.
Yeah, she is.
So I would look at it and I would be like, okay, I'll respond later when, I'm clear headed and not passionate and heated. Um,
Right.
but I would forget anyway.
Yeah, she
I
will
would forget.
really forget.
So, yeah, so that day I was like, yeah, if she texts me, then I'll go with her. Eventually, because I was the only choice left because the other
Yeah.
2 sisters couldn't
Couldn't go
go.
somehow. Yeah,
Yeah. Because it was probably not meant for them.
definitely not.
I was like, "Okay, I'll go with you. I'll go support you because, when it comes to the bottom line, we are sisters.
Yeah.
So, I'll go and support you." And that's what I did. So that's what I did. Um But then, like, now, after we both found out that we have spiritual guides and we both started our journey, I agree with Gachi that our bond has really, like, grown,
Changed. Yeah.
yeah, and changed in a good way. In a good way, I think we're able to really be more open and
Hmm.
honest with
That's
each
true.
other and respect each other's opinion. Um, it just took us to go through this shamanic calling
Yes, it did.
to
Spiritually.
build this bond, and it is very different, I would say. I probably like, would this have ever happened, if we didn't go through this together? Maybe. Who knows? Can't
Yeah.
think about what ifs, but I'm glad it did because it really
Mhm.
did, help us build our
Our
relationship.
relationship. Yeah, it really did.
Yeah. And then talking about family as well, the support system that I think we all don't really think about or like actually no one even really thinks about it because we don't
Yeah.
even know what's going to happen once we accept our calling. But I am glad, like, I really, I had Kachi and still have her
Mhm.
today to be there with me every step of the way. I don't think I would want it any different way. It has been such a blessing. Like, I'm so grateful for her, my shaman sisters, my other siblings, my parents, and of course, like my sifu or master who like supports me wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
Um, it was very difficult for me because
Mhm.
when I shared the news with my partner, like I said earlier, it was difficult for him to accept the fact that I have spiritual guides and I was starting. And I mean, even till this day, he's very skeptical.
Yes.
um, which it is something that is difficult, you can say, for someone just to accept it like overnight. I accepted it
Yeah.
overnight. Obviously, it's gonna take longer for my
Mhm.
partner to accept it, but don't
It's
let
your
his
journey.
negativity,
Yeah.
yeah, hinder my journey because it's my journey and only I can make a difference and it's my
Mhm.
choice. I do want to add that, for
Mhm.
anyone who is married and their partner may not, be your biggest supporter because obviously you're going to need someone to hit the gong for you, help
Yeah.
you while you're entering the spirit realm on the outside to watch over you, burn
Mhm.
joss paper, catch your tools. So my biggest number one supporters are my kids. They have been such a big part of my journey. They're really like my biggest supporters in helping me, while I enter the spiritual realm. So yeah, we're
Yeah.
taking baby steps. They're learning
Yeah.
with me as well.
Yeah, and I do. Just to add to that, I have seen her kids in the act. I'm very surprised and shocked because, they're not young. They're like pre-teenagers, but these kids don't speak any
Oh,
Hmong. Okay, these kids know nothing of the Hmong language, hardly, and they're able to support their mom. So I'm actually very thankful for them that they're able to do that, because no one else is around but them. As for me, my support system actually, I had a lot of support, and I still have a lot of support. Obviously, from my sister Nova, she's always been there, for me as well. So I am very thankful for her, and again, like my shaman sisters, and obviously my master. So just talking about support when I first like started my journey officially, I was a single mom living under my parents' roof. So it was a little bit tough because my sister and I both started around the same time. So my parents, they would compare us a lot, although they did support the both of us. They had, I don't know what it was, but they compared us a lot. So then they kind of threw like, it was kind of like they were like throwing me down, like they threw me down in a way because they were like, how come you're not like Nova? How come Nova's right here and you're doing that? Mind you, although we start at the same time or start at the same time, everyone is completely different, No one's journey is going to be the same. No one is the same. So that's something I had to fight along my journey last year when I started. But then again, my parents were there to support me. They did obviously help me raise my altar. And while they were supporting me, my boyfriend, who is now my husband, was there as well, supporting me through it all. He had never like really questioned me, about anything like, are you crazy? Are you insane? Are you sure you're not? Like, he has never questioned me from day one. And until this day, like, he helps me with everything. He helps me with my altar if I need it to be cleaned and I'm not able to do it. He helps, watch me as I'm entering into the spiritual world and everything. So I'm very thankful for my husband, because without him, like, I really wouldn't know what I would do as well. So yeah, that's my support system there. Yeah, pretty much. So even though, like, we still, like, even though we're, like, living our normal life, like, how did you, like, embrace this new side of you and, like, merge it in, Nova? Like, how did you do that? Or how are you
Mhm.
coping with that?
Um, in the beginning, I think, because I just started, I was super excited.
Yeah.
So so it kind of took over almost everything that I did, but then and that was the summer. So I am also like a college student.
Hmm.
I have kids. I work full time. So that was the summer. So I had time. But then once my semester started again, I really had to um time management, right? I hate time managing, but I really had to manage my time and also spread out my shaman duties so that I can still have time with my family. I can still complete, my schoolwork. When I'm at work, obviously, it's working time. And then, but the most important thing was like making time for myself.
Hmm.
I think it took me a very long time and I didn't realize it till actually just a month ago that like making time for myself was it's so important. It's so important for, just like my journey and to ground myself. But I can say like it is not perfect at all. It's very much like, day by day, baby steps every day. And then especially with trying to also like, be open with my partner as well and be sensitive to how he's feeling.
Hmm.
So, I think we are working on our relationship and, making sure that our priorities are aligned, and making sure that he is supporting me in the ways that I need to be supported when I need it. So definitely it has been a lot better than when I started from day one.
Right.
But if anything, I would say take breaks if you need it
Yeah.
and make time for yourself and be positive. Like be
Right.
positive.
Yeah, and I believe that too. Like, it's okay, like, to take breaks, like, throughout the week if you need it, because, um, just being a shaman is actually very stressful. It is, because it's so much on your plate. It's just like having a full time job, and there's a lot on your plate because it's like a quota that you have to meet weekly or monthly. It's the same exact thing. So, for me, embracing it and merging it into my existing life, it's like you said, baby steps. I'm still taking baby steps day by day. Obviously, there's not much I can do to ignore it because it's there. And if I ignore it, it's just like in my head, like, hello, like, I know you hear us. So there's nothing I can do. But just other than, like you said, take baby steps. That's how I'm coping with it currently. So I mean, it's very tough. It really is. It gets like very challenging at time because, like you said, it's about like making time for yourself, your family too, and also you have, something very important on the spiritual side that you have to work with. And it gets challenging because it's just like, how do you just merge it all in together? No one really knows, but somehow we do it perfectly fine. So I'm just gonna go with that. Like, we do it
Yes.
perfectly fine.
We do it because we have to do it.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know. And it's funny because, just really quick, like it's funny because I've seen Nova. She's hilarious. Okay, when I say she's hilarious, she's every day like, "What day is it?" And no matter how many times we tell her what day it is, she will keep asking it. It's like her guys are telling her, "Hey, you need to go and jingle bell. You need
I
to go and go to the
know.
other world." So it's hilarious. Like that's how they are to you. Like if you, they will make you not forget about them. They're like, "Hello, we're still here." Like, "Hello."
Yes, just today, I think I asked my daughter, like, "Hey, what day is it?" Like 10,000 times. I'm like
Yes.
and then at one point, I realized I was doing it repeatedly, so I'm like, "Just don't answer me."
I know.
Thank you so much for tuning in to our
Yeah.
first episode of Shaman Sisters. We are so happy that you guys can all tune in next episode, which we'll
Yeah.
talk about our mental health
Mhm.
and how we cope and the different things that we go through. Because I think a lot of
Mhm.
times, especially in the shaman world, everything is like pretty much hush hush. So we really want to talk about, our mental health and to hopefully, shed some light to you all as well, to anyone who may be starting their journey, that you are not alone.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day.